Hello and welcome to Only Frames. Today sees the final of the Ramsgate Rail Pool League Invitational. It's Chris versus Scott, brought to you by Only Frames. It's best of 11, and if Scott can win this, it will be a bigger shock than Leicester City winning the league. Scott is Mr. Boring. He's Mr. Pragmatic. He wears a helmet when he's on an exercise bike. He wears goggles when he makes tea. But today, so far in this knockout situation, he has been a new beast. He has been taking on shots, and I, for one, am all about this new version of the man. But to defeat Chris, he will need to go some. He will need to play the best pool of his life. He is currently at the table. That is Louis waving in the background. He is the star of the show, and the fans absolutely love him, and he'll be hoping, like the rest of us, this final is one for the ages. Scott here really has a great opportunity to make it 1-0, but can he keep composed when the pressure is really on? Scott traditionally is a kind of man who washes his hands after a shower, but today has not been the case, and once again he is showing his potting prowess. Is he on the top yellow? Can he see the edge? And can he get on the 8-ball to take an early lead? This is against the odds. We can't believe what we're seeing. This for 1-0. That's cracking. It's 1-0 to Scott, and on to the second frame we go with Scott breaking, and that must have been a tactical break because those balls barely moved. Although the pack barely moved, a red was sunk, but Scott is taking on the yellows, and he is playing development shots. Scott traditionally is a kind of guy who puts his phone on battery saver mode when he has 99% battery, but he's looking to make a change to his game today and silence some of his biggest critics, and I, for one, am one of them. This could be the biggest change since Bruce Arena become Caitlyn Jenner. What can he do from here though? This is new territory for Scott. Can he continue with this attacking outlook on the game? It's much better for all of us. He's actually enjoyable to commentate on. Chances are he's gonna have to take that lower of the two yellows, as that will get him onto that final yellow into the opposite middle pocket. Does the 8-ball go? He's hit it too hard. Can he still see the edge of the yellow? Only time will tell. He's got down on it quickly, meaning he must be able to see it. Taking it to the middle, but he hits the knuckle. That's the old Scott. And for the first time for the day, we are going to see a little bit of Chris and what he has to offer to this match so far. Chris did manage to win the league, and he managed to go undefeated. But when the pressure is on, how will he cope with the heat? And he's turned into Scott. Overnight, this is a role reversal. Scott has been all out attacking, which Chris is known for, and Chris is playing sad little stitches. What a virgin. We do not condone that kind of stuff on Only Frames, and Scott can only find the knuckle, absolutely nowhere near the yellow, giving Chris an opportunity to level up the scores. But will Chris take it on, or will we see a different version of Chris today within this final? Chalking his cue, looking to take this one down to the bottom right, and there's the dog. He's back in view, making the picture quality that little bit better. This has been a good start here from Chris. He looks cool, he looks composed, and he looks ready to lift this title. But can he hold it together? Now just the 4 reds to go. This one next to the yellow does go. That was the problem ball, and that shot has opened up the whole table. Taking that one next to the 8-ball now. Nice little flick on the 8-ball to hold for that red into the middle. Chris is playing quick, and he looks confident. He beat Scott earlier in the season, and can he beat him again? Will that be on Scott's mind? Will he be looking for revenge? Chris down on the 8-ball to level it up. It's 1-1. We rejoin the action late into frame 3 with only 2 yellows and 2 reds remaining on the table, and Scott continuing to look to play his new attacking approach. But will that bite him on the arse? He's left Chris only 2 reds and the 8-ball to take a 2-1 lead, to lead for the first time in the match so far. Chris, who had a walkover in the semi-final against Jody, will have to play a lot better than that today to take home the cup. And the first ever Ramsgate Rail Pool League Invitational trophy. He's left that slightly short, leaving that red trickier to the middle and more difficult a positional shot, and he has come up short, which at 6'6" doesn't happen often to Chris. Takes on the double. That's nowhere near. This is a chance for Scott. Scott, who normally wears a wetsuit to do the dishes. He's blocking the camera. Let us see what you're up to, man. Is he taking on the pot? I'm not sure he did. He may say he has, but I'm not sure he tried to pot that. And if he did, that is embarrassing. Must do better is what his school report would say. Chris taking on the long double. That's nowhere near. It's rolling in. It's gone in. How? Chris takes a 2-1 lead and Scott's at the table. He's breaking. We're on to frame 4. That is an unbelievable break by Scott. He's managed to pot 2 of the red ones and 1 of the yellow. If ever there was an opportunity for Scott to break and dish for the first time in his life, then it is now. But can he find the first pot taking on the yellows? Of course he can't. That's pathetic, and he's given Chris a chance to extend his lead as both of these balls are there. It's just the first pot required for either of these two men. Who can ever get in first? I think they'll fancy their chances of clearing the table. Chris, who's pointing out his shot to Scott, saying, "This is how you pot a ball, my friend," is taking that yellow down to the bottom left. Does it go? Yes, it does, and he's on one of his tricky balls on that right hand rail. Chris is shaking his head. He isn't happy with that positional shot as he is having to stretch. Chris was recently subject of a lawsuit from McDonald's. They are claiming to sue his sorry little ass if he does not remove that M from his hairline. We do not win any lawsuits at Only Frames, so we are suggesting he shave it off and offer us another advertising tool, as Noel has kindly done. Noel's head, who is currently in the background just to the right hand side, remains available for you to advertise on. If you have a business or want to put a message to a friend, let us know. We will happily put that onto Noel's beautiful, shiny, smooth head. We will advertise anything just to make a few bucks along the way. Chris now, who is looking to take that yellow to the top left, finds a good pot. That's a cracker. But is he on his last yellow? He's only left a double. That is not as he would have liked it. Needed to be over the other side of the table, which wasn't possible from where he was. Takes on the double, hits the knuckle. This has left a chance for Mr. Lactose Intolerant, which is ironic as that guy is a massive tit. Here comes Scott, leaning over, 5 of them over the hole. These are all there. Fill your boots. This is a buffet table. You've just got to clear them up, my friend. Now Scott looking to make it 2-2. Once again, misses a gimme. This guy is an ABBA. Gimme, 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 a pot after midnight is what this guy requests on the regular. Chris now, easy yellow. Easy 8 ball, all about position, which he's just about on. This is for a lead, a 2-frame lead. It's 3-1 to Chris, and on to the 5th frame we go. Chris is at the table and he is playing those yellow ones. He has a cluster of 4 next to the middle pocket, but that's a loo ball. That could feature in our worst shots of the month compilation, which is available across our social feeds. We ask for you to get involved. Vote on your worst shots of the month. And Scott, he's laying a contender himself. That was embarrassing. That's a shot on a visit, and Chris pots a yellow. Scott didn't hit a cushion. That's why it was a foul and brought Chris back to the table. That is very embarrassing from Scott. He should be ashamed of himself. He can't afford to make mistakes like that in a game like this. Once again, back to our worst shots compilation, available on our TikTok, which is onlyframe62, and also available on our Instagram, only.frames. There you'll find our worst shots compilation, and you also find our best shots compilation. Get involved, let us know in the comments, and let us know what you thought of today's game so far. Can Chris open up a 4-1 lead? Surely that would be unassailable. But in potting that last yellow, he has finished too close to the 8 ball. That is a super fine cut. And Scott is waiting there like a predator with his last 2 reds over the hole. This is a big shot. This for 4-1 or if he misses, it will pretty much be 3-2, as even Scott can't miss these. Down on the shot, looking to take it bottom right, the 8's in, the cue ball stays up, and it is 4-1 to Chris. But we do skip a frame. It has immediately gone to 4-2 for all those observant people amongst us. The 6th frame was so bad. Bear in mind, we are below average pool content creators. It was that bad, it has had to be removed. It's been deleted. It is in the vault. If you would like us to post that frame, please let us know in the comments. It's about 25 minutes long. It is some of the worst pool in the history of the world. But back to the action we go, with Scott at the table looking to make this 4-3. Game on. If he can, it will be against the odds. I, for one, didn't believe he could do it. I had a bet on Chris to win 6-0 because that's how much little faith I have in Scott. But this is a real chance. Which ball to take? He's eyeing up his options. He's looking at the angles of where he needs to leave the white, and he leaves it nowhere near where he was playing. But he has got lucky. He's on that last yellow. The 8's over the hole. Can he take it? Yes, he can. But can he see the 8? Is the red in the way? He's straight down. This is for 4-3. What a shot. There's only one in it. And on to the 8th frame we go, with Scott at the table playing reds. Scott is a trainee magician in his spare times. He can make things disappear, and usually that is my good mood. He's a mood hoover. He's not a die soon. I hope he would die soon though. He's a bloody nose. But that is a great shot, and Scott has come to play. This guy isn't messing around today, and I must admit I'm enjoying his new approach, because he isn't stitching Chris, he's stitching himself. He can't see it. Off one cushion, up the rear. Ooh! He's done well to hit it, but he couldn't pot it. But he has left Chris with a tricky starter to try and clear the table at this visit. We all know what Scott would be trying to do here. He would be trying to get that white, that cue ball, in behind those 2 yellows and the black to leave Chris stitched. But is Chris going to lower himself to Scott's level? Scott's even showing him, get that cue ball in behind there. That's what I would do. But Chris is reluctant. He's thinking, can he find this first pot? Up once, back down, up again. He's back down on it. Ooh, yes, please, don't mind if I do. Has he played the double? He has, but is he on the yellow? I'm not sure he is. That is too close. That was a good shot, a good bit of ingenuity there from Chris, but he hasn't managed to finish on one of these yellows. He is now going to look to come off the cushion. Can he send that bottom yellow towards that bottom right-hand bag? He can't. He's left it up. This is a real chance for Scott to level things up, to make it 4-4. Is he becoming a contender? Scott's actually a Burnley fan, and we all expected him to suffer the same fate as his team and get relegated. But he is super exceeding those immediately low reservations we all had about him. This for 4-4. He's potted it. He's making a real fist of it. And we all know he loves a good fisting. On to the 9th frame we go, with Chris at the table, and he's playing those beautiful little red cherries. That is the dog in the background. He will be back for season 2, as will Chris and Scott. No doubt Scott will not be in this position again, so he should enjoy his first ever pool final. It will probably be the only one he's ever in, but Chris is really turning up the heat, and he's looking to end this match as quickly as possible now. Has he taken Scott too lightly so far? If he has, that will not continue. He will look to up the ante, and can Scott cope? Who knows? Who can tell? Only time will tell. Stay tuned as this match comes to its climax, which I am doing as I speak, because these two men are beautiful. Chris does miss a pot, leaving Scott a chance to take a lead for the first time ever in a final. This would be incredible. As I mentioned earlier today, Scott is a trainee magician and he spends his weekends flicking his wand about trying to make magic come out the end. By the end of the day, it looks like a pepperami. I'll let you work out what that actually means. But he has found some magic there. And speaking of segues, who's been to Benidorm? Avoid the Segway Star Wars show. It's not worth it. There's too many lightsabers out throughout that performance. And speaking of segues and performances, Scott is at the top of his game today, looking to impress those doubters who have been on his case all season, mainly me. He is my best friend, so I can say stuff like this. I love him, really, and we only mock what we love, and we are actually all great friends, and I, for one, would love to see Scott really win this. He's been cracking throughout this, and just a moment ago he was also cracking, maybe showing you what you could get if you subscribe to the Only Frames Christmas calendar. Next year we are going to be doing a calendar, so more of that will be on offer. Let us know in the comments if you are interested. Scott off the top cushion, getting creative, but that's unlucky. That was close. Not only did he not pot it, he hasn't blocked the hole, meaning this red goes in and Chris is left with a chance. But can he take it? The pressure is on. Chris hasn't been under this much pressure all season. Scott is giving him a real run for his money. How will Chris respond? He's looking, he's thinking more than normal. I didn't think he had a brain cell, but he is showing that something is clogging up in there. I assume there's a lot of cobwebs. He's looking to take this one over the bottom left-hand pocket and move that tricky ball, which he has managed to do. But I don't think it goes in the pocket that he's left himself on. Naturally, he'd be trying to take that to the bottom right. What is he going to do? He's taking it down to the bottom left. It will naturally get position. If he misses, Scott's in, but he doesn't miss. But is he on the red? I'm not sure. We will know by how quickly he gets down on this. He loves getting down on things. He's a satisfaction lover. He loves me to be satisfied. He could see it. He got down quickly. He sent that red to the bottom right. He sinks the 8 ball. He's on the hill. It's 5-4. Scott will need to find something now. He needs to win back-to-back frames. And that is a terrible start to that quest. Those balls are absolutely everywhere. And Chris has a shot and a visit. Chris isn't reds yet because within the black ball rules, it's on your second visit when you have a shot and a visit of potting that colour that you become that colour. And Chris is going to try and sink another red, trying to make sure his Johnson doesn't touch that red ball near the bottom right hand pocket, which he managed to do. That was never in danger. His Corey was never going to hang that low, but like us all, he's an optimist. He likes to think it's a bit bigger than it is. Sinks that ball down to the bottom right that was nowhere near his member as he crouched over it not so long ago. And now, all of a sudden, just the 3 reds, now only 2. These both go to the left middle. There's one more red and the 8 ball to go to become the first champion of the Ramsgate Rail Pool League. Brought to you by Only Frames. This has been a cracking match, but it could be over with one more shot. It's down to the bottom right. It is all over. Handshakes are done. Chris has been the true champion this year, undefeated. Great game. Thank you.